Okay, so we should be live. No, it's been silent. Okay. Um, right. So I have a rough plan on what I wanted to talk about for it being the end of 2025. We're starting 2026. Um, but also I'm trying to work with ChatGPT and Google Gemini and the free account. There's some problems I didn't have the beginning of last year, this year. Yeah. But hello everyone. If you're here, it's because you're done playing small. 2025 wasn't smooth. It wasn't cute. And for me, it was a year where my body made some very loud decisions for me. Multiple sclerosis. Between multiple sclerosis relapse that knocked me flat on my butt, kinda, the way the muscle spasms had me lean forward like I'm gonna fall over. Yeah. Grieving a 10-year relationship. I'm not exactly sure how long I'm supposed to grieve that relationship because I was with him in 2014. He left abruptly and aggressively mean and all those things in 2024, August. And I had to figure it out without him. And here we are. There was a death in the family this year, 2025, but there was a death in the disability community November 2024. Isabella, she used to protest to change the rates of ODSP and demand better treatment and rights and quality of life on ODSP pretty much her entire time being on it, which I think is mostly her whole life. She passed away at 64. I went to her funeral. It activated me to exit off of ODSP because I didn't really want to end up like that for my future self. I got to meet her sister. Her sister is not on ODSP. She travels and spends money and walks into a room like she owns it. And it's very interesting to see the two siblings that grew up in the same household that chose different paths of life, where it just gave me perspective on things I was questioning I had no answers for, and here we are. Moments where the easiest thing to do would have been to just stay down and hide under the covers, but I learned I don't do that. I learned I can't. Eventually, I get hungry. So I learned I can't hide under the covers and hope it goes away. It doesn't work. Um, so the whole scarcity mindset and waiting for somebody to rescue you, whether it's the government or a person or a relationship or substance habit, does not actually work. I tried a number of things, and the only thing that works is having a very strong faith. For me, it happens to be the Christian variety. Just because I've been through things I cannot explain, that when I seek for answers to try to explain it, I end up being redirected back to higher power. We call them God. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's angels or something. But they all seem to go back to the same spot where I'm like, okay, fine. Maybe you're right. Um, so yeah, defining the mission. Um, yeah, the mission's simple. I'm on a mission to come off of an Ontario Disability Support Program, but with my income and assets built in a way that I retire with dignity. Because I got on Ontario Disability Program 2011. 2011, I was what? 20, a calculator? No, I can't do math in my head about my age. I just don't know what that is. 26. So 2011, I'm 26. 18, I leave home. From 18 to 26, I was working, paying bills, dealing with family, then PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, complex PTSD, major depressive disorder. Then I was not in this reality of psychosis where they were going to evict me from my apartment, current one I'm in right now. I got saved by the payment, lump sum payment from a Ontario Disability Support Program that paid the back rent, that kept me in a rent control apartment that I've been in for 18 years, where February 1st, I pay $1,014.93. Where now the mission is to paint the walls, ask them to rebuild the floor, and save up and move out. And I need to figure out in what order do I want to do things based on being on Ontario Disability Support Program, in the sense that just make sure I can see chat because I know chat is open. In the sense that, so most of my assets are exempt under Ontario Disability Program policy. Registered Disability Savings Plan, segregated funds under life insurance 4.8, life insurance policy at ODSP. So I can put I can work and put all my money in there. But for the segregated funds, they have to hit over $100,000 to trigger not being eligible. And then my savings, my emergency fund, and I planned that out. I wouldn't go over $40,000 because I know how to invest. Hey, hun, how you doing? I know how to invest with the segregated funds. Like Friday, I have a meeting with my financial planner, and we're going to figure out the cash that's sitting in my registered disability saving plan, what to do with it, because there's $33,000 in there. Yay. And then the whole of 2026, I'd be adding my money to my tax-free savings account and my first home savings account, but they're segregated funds, which when I send reports of them to my caseworker, they may or may not give me trouble with it because they need to understand policy directive 4.8 life insurance policies. And I don't need any troubles with it because it's just going to trigger a whole chain of events. But I'm eligible for Ontario Disability Support Program, so I have to go through it. If it comes up, I have to go through it because I'm in the system. It doesn't go away until they tell me I'm no longer eligible, or I tell them I want to stop being on Ontario Disability Support Program. And I won't tell them I want to stop being on Ontario Disability Support Program until I accomplish certain financial milestones that I need in place to set a good foundation so I can live without them. That is what that is. Yeah, I think right. iPhone with their Happy New Year. Does it have to be so dramatic? Does it have to be so dramatic? Yeah. And then I've been a cam model for 22 years because I started in 2003. Hold on. Okay. I don't have it anymore. So I got to edit my outline as we go along. Okay. In that time, I learned living with disability means the world often expects you to settle for the bare minimum. It does. So Ontario Disability Support Program, as of July 2025, it's $1,408 a month. I get special. I need my budget in front of me so I can break it down and show you. But this is also not my year in review of my budget. I just need the visual of the numbers instead of me trying to pull them out of my memory. Okay, let's see if I can share this tab and keep everything going smoothly. Okay, so Ontario Disability Support Program, the maximum a single person who has shelter, who qualifies for Ontario Disability Support Program, is $1,408. It's $809 for shelter and $809 for basic needs and $599 for shelter. It doesn't make any sense because high cost of living. Ontario is one of the most expensive provinces that we have. And it doesn't cover everything. So the annoying part of AI, other people, they think, oh yeah, you're on ODSP, everything is covered. Everything is not covered on Ontario Disability Support Program. And I know this because of my muscle relaxers. They're not covered. We have to send a request to Exceptional Access Program, which is a different part of the Ontario government, to basically tell them my need of having the muscle relaxers so they can cover it, while I wait with muscle spasms until they cover it because they're not covering it. And then there's also my doctor wasn't confident about the muscle relaxers I'm on now. So she waited 3 weeks, 2 weeks before she got the information she needed from the neurologist to then decide what dose to prescribe me. And while I was waiting, I couldn't wait anymore physically because that was madness. And I have to tell her that when I see her. So I ended up going to the emergency room. And luckily, the emergency room neurologist knew the drug I was looking for, tizanidine, and said, yeah, 5 milligram. Great. Give me the thing and I'll figure it out. 3 hours waiting in the emergency room. That should have been like in the appointment with my doctor that I had 2 weeks before going to the emergency room. No, it's not covered. $44 for 30 tablets. I have to take 3 a day. And then I see the pain clinic next week. So hopefully the pain clinic will try their remedies of pain management, or annoyingly, I have to live with it, taking this muscle relaxer. And I hate it because I still get the muscle spasms to the point I get a claw in my hand where there's certain physical tasks I cannot do. Like, new neighbors moved in. They need to put up blinds, the sticky blinds or whatever blinds they had. They need a step ladder. I had a step ladder. I went to grab my step ladder, and whatever reason, my body, between walking to back to my apartment, then getting my step ladder, then walking to theirs, 20 feet in a hallway, my hands deformed itself. They didn't see it because they're less intensity or frequency, or I've relaxed enough that they don't full-blown muscle spasm where I feel like I'm being squeezed with a vice grip. But I can't live with that every day. Because how chronic pain, there's no cure. Then depending on the symptoms of what they are, they're like, oh yeah, we've done everything we can. Good luck. I really, really, really am hoping and praying that when I see the pain clinic, they actually can work with what's happening for a solution. Because if this continues, it'll affect my income. It'll affect me adding to my investments. It'll affect how I am stuck on Ontario Disability Support Program because of muscle spasms from my illness that got me qualified for Ontario Disability Support Program. Why do I hate it so much? Besides what I get from ODSP, then there's the policy directive 5.4, self-employment. So any income I make have to be reported to Ontario Disability Support Program. Every penny that comes in my hand, my possession, has to get reported to Ontario Disability Program. And I don't know how else to say this to people. So we're going to quickly go through the policy directive of table of contents. Here's the policy directive. Here's income support. I will put it in chat. And then hopefully on the replay, people will see the link on the replay. If not, go to Ontario Disability Support Program, Canada. If you're in America, find it, read through it. It's a pain in the ass. and I want to say more swear words, but I'm gonna be not so vulgar with my language describing it. So like here, it says spouses. If I get married, there's a category right here of spouses. What happens to spouses? Medical review. They could ask for another medical review. What more do you want that I have lesions in my brain and my spine and I go in psychosis and they found me naked in my hallway? Like, that's a short version of what I have. Um, Review eligibility and then all assets. They want to know so ODSP is an asset test program. They claim they want to be the last resort, but on it, ODSP was not my last resort because I didn't have private insurance. Like I didn't have a job that was offering me insurance. And then when I was self-employed, working self-employed with the symptoms of bipolar disorder and then eventually multiple sclerosis, I wasn't thinking, oh, buy health insurance, oh, buy disability insurance, oh, buy critical illness insurance. I was 20 when that is not what 20-year-old me was thinking. Ladies free before 11. Who can buy me a drink at the bar? And how much money can I make? That was that was not insurance. Not like, oh, I barely had tenant insurance for my apartment. Like friends with Rachel. And the dad's like, you have tenant insurance, right? And she goes, why? Why would I have that? Exactly. 20, why will we have 10? I don't want to get loud. Yeah. Motor vehicle, like if I buy a car and buy a second car, ODSP wants to know about it. And they can find out about it because they'll check the Ministry of Transportation. Yeah, that had to get loud. It just did. Funds held under trust. So like my parents, my grandmother, if they leave me an inheritance and they don't set it up correctly in a trust fund, and we talk with each other to make sure the trust fund is not over $100,000. See right here. Total combined amount of the trust plus the cash surrender value of any life insurance policies owned by a member of the benefit unit, that's me, must not exceed $100,000. Payments from a trust used for any purposes to a maximum of $10,000 for any 12-month period are exempt as income. That's annoying. What if my grandma gives me $1 million? Or 500 or 300 or 150. I hate this thing. Payments used for approved disability related items or services, education, training, and expenses incurred because of disability. Basically, if I get an inheritance from my family, I have to put in my registered disability savings plan. I have to keep some of it in the trust fund. Then my segregated funds have to stay below a certain limit. So I personally don't exceed $100,000. Then I have to spend money on disability related expenses, give receipts for that. Then let's say I want to upgrade my apartment. Ideally, I want to be able to buy something. So buying something, my credit has to be good. Then like you see how many things you have to do when you're on ODSP just to make sure if you get money from your family, the generational wealth, the wealth transfer that's happening for some people, that hey, if you're on Ontario Disability Support Program, the wealth transfer is not a good, like wonderful event for you because you have to tell ODSP what you're doing with it. Then depending what's left over, am I eligible, not eligible? I basically have to spend down my inheritance to be below the limit of staying eligible for Ontario Disability Support Program, or the inheritance is enough money that the inheritance basically replaces my $1,697.87 a month on ODSP so that it makes up for it. And then I move on to transitional health benefits or apply for Ontario Drug Trillium and another health insurance, depending on how much money I get as an inheritance. And my family, I've told them this. I've told them things have to be set up. The house has to be set up in order if I get anything from them, that it doesn't mess up my disability benefits. And as parents, they say, oh, yeah, no problem. We'll work it out. But they don't actually talk about it because I'm not in that meeting. And I know they don't know what it is. I know for a fact they don't know what it is because the way when I bring up things, the same way I bring up things on this YouTube channel and I bring up the policy directive, we're not having that conversation. So I have to act like I'm not getting an inheritance and take care of myself. So when I do get the inheritance, I can handle it. And like the best way for me to not stress myself out the way that I am right now, and typically on a regular basis, is to make more money and not be on government assistance because I don't want to have to deal with all the things in this policy directive. Like spouse, getting married. Getting married should be the most wonderful thing. Not, oh yeah, by the way, do you want to live below the poverty line and our assets have to be $50,000? Because here, the person, the applicant, recipient together have declared to the director they are spouses. We have to declare to my caseworker we're spouses. The office that smells like rotten flesh, we have to go in there and declare. I'm saying a lot of swear words in my head with a lot of no's right after. He is required under a court order or domestic contract to support the applicant, recipient, or any of the applicant's recipient's dependents. They already said so. ODSP, right here. He has an obligation under the Family Law Act to support the applicant, recipient, or the applicant's recipient dependents. So I'm the applicant. I have no dependents, so it's just me. The person and the applicant recipient have been living in the same dwelling place for a period of at least 3 months. Oh, we should move in together. Then, oh, we move in together. We're trying to figure out what this is. Oh, yeah, by the way, we have to go to the disability office and you have to declare that I'm your spouse. I was with someone for 10 years. No, we did not live together. He had a lot of issues with so many things. How am I supposed to sit down with them and have this legal, serious conversation? I'm not exactly sure how to have I don't know what the words to say in this type of conversation. The person, 3 months, social family aspects of the relationship between the two persons are consistent with cohabitation. Financial report provided by one person to the other, or the degree of the financial interdependence. Interdependence? What? It's consistent with cohabitation. Intent of the policy. I'm skipping some stuff because I'm getting upset every time I read it. To ensure the two adults have not declared themselves to be spouses, do not have support obligations, or are living together, only those living in a marriage-like relationship are treated as couples for the purpose of social assistance. To establish a 3-month minimum time frame because spousal status is assessed based on family-like, social, and financial factors. Family-like, marriage-like, interdependence. Like, I can't. I would never date anybody who's on ODSP to do this. Because remember, I read he because I would like to marry a he, but it says he or she at the beginning. Like if I date someone and they're on ODSP, and because there's so much shame and stigma with being on Ontario Disability Support Program, chances are you'll meet somebody who's on it and not going to tell you because of this the way social assistance is seen and viewed, and political people twist it around, and like regular people twist it around, and all that. Yeah, like this becomes, oh, we can just be friends. This is what happens. This is the instant we can just be friends. Because love will keep us together. I don't really think so, because it blew up in my face after a decade. Like, blew up in where we broke up. I cried so hard, I had chest pain. And luckily, I'm alive, because the level of pain I was feeling when my ex broke up with me could have been the broken heart syndrome that they talk about. It was that bad. The amount of rehab I had to do and see doctor just to, and oh yeah, I am seeing a cardiologist. I don't know if it's connected, but if I ask the cardiologist, they'll probably tell me no. But then I gotta wear a halter in February, so this should be fun. So, 3 months, marriage like, family like, ensure that the income and assets of spouses of applicant recipient are considered when determining eligibility and the amount of income support. I don't know why I'm so stuck in this section of the policy when there's more. Oh yeah, questionnaire here. If an applicant or recipient been living together with another adult other than a close relative, including parent, step-parent, grandparent, uncle, aunt, son, stepson, daughter, stepdaughter, grandchild, sister, brother, niece, or nephew for less than 3 months, the case should be flagged and brought forward at the 3-month point for assessment of the relationship using the new questionnaire. The questionnaire used to be online. I remember when I found like a copy of it online. I don't. I barely can do a questionnaire to describe the pain in my body to the pain clinic. This, how many times they say questionnaire, 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 questionnaire. Was that 6 times? How many is that? 7? Copy, find, questionnaire. 19 times the questionnaire is mentioned in this policy directive spouse. Interpreting the questionnaire overview. There's a part 1 and a part 2. Ooh, and a part 3. There's a part 3? Oh, man. Assessing responses to the questionnaire. Oh, age of the spouse. What does this have to do with anything? Regulations do not place age restrictions for the spouse of the recipient. The recipient must be 18 years of age, and a spouse must meet the definition of spouse in subsequent chat. What? What? No! 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 Treatment of income of the spouse. Requirements of spousal participation in Ontario Works program. So this, at least this, they make the spouse who's not disabled get a job. Hey, hon, how you doing? I was reading the policy directive for Ontario Disability Program on spouses. I had to stop before I had a mental breakdown because they mentioned this questionnaire 19 times in the section for spouses on Ontario Disability Program. There's a part, it's broken down in 3 parts. So part 1 must be completed in all cases where 2 adults have been living together for at least 3 months and not declared themselves to be spouses or be confirmed as close relatives. Part 2, so part 1 is the declaration. Part 2, financial factors, contains a series of financial questions to assist ODSP staff. Yeah, exactly. Oh no, I'm already panicking. It's all right. I panicked. I still got other parts of the policy to read. I'm going to read as many parts of the policy directive until New Year's Eve. And then the rest of 2026, I'm going to do everything in my human power to build my assets, pay down debt, credit cards, all 4. I'm not touching the ODSP overpayment. Then we'll build up my 3-month emergency fund. I have a business trip in November 2026. I would like to go on that business trip, November 2026. I have to lose weight for the business trip because the business trip is going to give me a really, 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 really nice photo shoot from a really, really, really big adult magazine that I wanted to be in my entire adult life. So the level of this year is Gazelle Intense, Taking Care of Business. That song's in my head. Yeah, and these boots are made for walking. And the Walk All Over You is under our disability support program. And Hit the Road Jack. Oh, yeah. All songs I cannot play because I don't need YouTube striking my channel for copyright infringement. I made a whole playlist right there for 2026. It's pretty fantastic. I break my stride. I like that one too. That one works. Okay. Financial factors. Let me share this screen and then hopefully I can move on to a different section of the policy directive. Yeah, don't don't you come back no more. Yeah. I wish I knew where I heard that song. I have no idea where I heard it. Okay, financial factors containing a series of financial questions to assist ODSP staff in assessing whether the financial aspects of the relationship between the two adults living together is marriage-like. Marriage-like. I'm sorry. Those two words just sound so weird to me. Um, this part is completely completed if the responses to part 1 do not indicate that the spousal relationship exists. Spousal relationship exists. Is this you trying to find out for common law? Like, what is this? If the responses to part 2 indicate that a marriage-like financial relationship does not exist, only part 2 is completed and there's no need to proceed to part 3. The applicant or recipient is considered a single person or single parent. Okay, this is probably them trying to figure out if you're a roommate or a spouse. Part 3, social and family-like factors, contains additional questions to assist ODSP staff in assessing whether the social and family-like aspects of the relationship are marriage-like. This part is completed only if the responses to part 2 indicate that the marriage-like financial relationship exists. If the responses to part 3 indicate that a marriage-like social and family-like relationship does not exist, the applicant or recipient is considered a single person or single parent, because that determines how much money you're getting, which means everything is about the money. Space is provided for the applicant recipient to provide relevant additional information throughout. See, I don't know why people act like ODSP won't ask that. It's right here. I read it right here. This is me and a spouse. That's not even like, I'm not even seeing nobody right now. I barely flirted with the new neighbor next door. And he has a girlfriend. I offered to cook for him. Oh my gosh. I can't read any more of this section. I need a different section. I need a section that's not going to make me feel like my life is taken over by the bot. Like, no. Absent from Ontario. So, like, family went to Rome for the holidays. Rome, Italy. Yes, Rome. And Romania. Like, a whole European tour they did. I don't know how long they went, and I don't know if they came back. But if they're gone more than 30 days, I lose my disability benefits, which means I risk losing my prescriptions that manage my bipolar disorder. It doesn't affect my Mavenclad because Mavenclad is a different part of the government, but any other prescriptions that are covered by ODSP would be affected. And I may trigger an overpayment in the month that I'm gone for more than 31 days. Summary directive: absence for more than 30 days can be considered necessary if the absence is required for health-related reasons, attendance at post-secondary institution outside of Ontario in exceptional circumstances. So luckily, my mom comes from a very, very large family, but I can't go to everybody's funeral. I can't. I'm not doing that. Because that means, oh yeah, stay, have a vacation. Oh, don't worry about ODSP. That's literally what she's going to tell me every single time. if I travel and family is there, stay. Don't worry about ODSP. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. When ODSP blows up in my face that I have to go through this stuff. The default, you convince me, oh, don't worry about it. Then the thing that I'm worried about, and it happens, then you come back with, oh, sorry to hear about that. When, if you listen to me in the first place, like I'm actually acting like this has already happened. If they listened to me in the first place, I wouldn't have to deal with ODSP. If we stayed less than 30 days in a month. Like literally, I only have to do a 10-day vacation, a 5-day vacation, 7-day vacation. And honestly, a 7-day vacation would be safer than a 10-day vacation just in case I get sick. Because of the fact that the multiple sclerosis prescriptions I'm on affects my immune system. And I still have to I'm finishing year 1 this week. It's 5 days of pills. I think 3 days I take 2 pills a day for 3, and then the other 2 I take 1 pill. Or is it 3 days of 2 pills and then 1, because there's 7 pills in there for 5 days. I forgot how I broke it down. I will take a picture of the way the packaging comes from Mavenclad. It's like one of the games at Price is Right where they would punch in the wall and pull something out. It's best to describe it. I don't think it's Planko. Which one is it where they punch into the wall? Is it Planko? I don't even know. But that's what it reminds me of, because the way I have to punch out every tablet, I punch it out into a cup. Because if it touches like your skin, because basically the Mavenclad, it's in the same drug family as cancer treatments. I know, pretty awful, pretty extreme. Yes, really extreme side effects. But it's what I have to do to manage the multiple sclerosis. So what we're doing, we're knocking down my T cells and B cells, and we want my body to rebuild itself so it attacks itself less, so I have less disease progression of multiple sclerosis. Now, to have less disease progression of multiple sclerosis, I have to keep my stress level down. We already know one of my biggest stressors is a family. And I would like to go into 2026 not over-explaining myself to them, and also not feeling obligated to see all of them. Why? Because the more of them I see, I risk getting sick. And me seeing them with a mask on will cause a whole heap of discussions I don't want to have. I've said that before. Yeah, I don't want. I think I said that during the pandemic. I remember because during the pandemic, I started my first multiple sclerosis treatment, and I didn't want to see my family then because of the same reason I don't want to see them now. Basically, I would have to wait until April where I do my follow-up with a neurologist, and I've done 5 months, I think, of blood work. I did December, January, February, March, 4 months of blood work, where the blood work checks my liver function, kidney function, and my blood cells to see how many white blood cells I have. And the white blood cells are what you need to fight infection. Like, hello, what? Yeah. 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 Which section are we in? Oh yeah, absence of Ontario. To ensure the income support is provided only to persons who are not absent from Ontario for more than 30 days, unless the absence is considered necessary. Then this goes into getting approval from the caseworker. My caseworker changes every year, which means I could get a caseworker that approves me being gone for more than 30 days, or I get a caseworker who really wants to do their job and makes it difficult for me. Yeah. All right. Next section. You know what? I should have chat pick a number between 1 and what do we have here? 13. And then we'll figure it out what we're reading in that section of the policy directive. Because I have a rough idea what's already there. There's times I will read something that I thought I read before, and because the policy would change without notice, and then we try to protest to have the policy change, and sometimes we win. So then that'll change in the policy based on how well do you become an aggressive protester to ask for better fair rates for Ontario Disabilities Program, or easier application process, or more disabilities being recognized, or spouses. Everything about the spouse in the policy directive of ODSP affects the spouse I choose 100%. Like, you know how strong of a person I have to find, marry, and discuss this thing that they say yes the entire time? Because let's say I meet somebody and we get married, and I'm still on Ontario Disability Program within the 5-year plan of me working towards exiting Ontario Disability Support Program. Assuming I don't relapse from multiple sclerosis again and end up in the emergency room and have to do another MRI and change drug treatments. And each drug treatment has horrible side effects and a potential of really horrible things that could happen that we hope doesn't happen, because we're trying to focus on the successful rate of efficacy in the treatment of multiple sclerosis so that people take the drug. And then every one of the multiple sclerosis prescriptions that come up in my future has to go through the whole Ontario government, because I can't move to another province and hope that their drug program will cover me. I wish people understood what this is. Yeah. But some people do. I know this because we've been talking how many years about this, and there are people reaching out to me with questions and solutions of strategies and planning, mostly from me giving them solution and strategy and planning, where they feel more confident going to ODSP. Like the lady in my peer group, she has to get Botox injections, but her spouse makes too much income, so she's no longer eligible. And I was like, well, you're going to have a discussion of having a family meeting with the budget and get the caseworker to see if you're eligible for extended health benefits to determine if you're eligible. That's also a thing I don't want to talk about spouses. And then also see if she can get on her spouse's insurance plan as a family plan, as it just him as the individual covering his insurance and not her, the wife, that should be covered. The serious, and the thing is, she's never thought about that before. Of like, okay, I have a husband, he works really hard, I'm on ODSP, they say I'm no longer eligible, so my Botox injections that manages my disability is no longer covered, but I need it so I can feel better. I don't get how people are not having those conversations. Because what is the purpose of being with a person if you can't tap into their health insurance? I'm dead serious on that one. If we're going to be married, man and wife, husband and wife, and you have better health insurance, and you can't figure out if I'm eligible to be like an applicant on your health insurance, we have a problem. You can keep your ring. If I can't get on your health insurance, it's a no. Dead serious. Oh my God. Oh, I mean, I know why that's funny. because it's like it's literally in my list of, like people say make a list of the person you want to be with. That's on the list. Health insurance. Yeah, good. I thought I was talking to myself when I went on that rant, because I'm like, no, really. If I'm going to marry anybody or move in with anybody, and we already saw spouses says they determine if we're a spouse under ODSP after 3 months, and you can't add me to your health insurance. Yeah, man, break up right there. Don't even, right. You know what? I should read back my book, Think Like a Lady and Act Like a Man, and try to implement that 3-month rule and make sure they have good health insurance and good credit. Hey, Black women build wealth. I don't know. I'm going to check if you have a channel. I've never seen that name before, but Happy New Year. Yeah, health insurance is a must. It totally is. Health insurance is a must. Because, like, yeah, it's a definite requirement for being on government assistance. You do have a channel. I'm trying to figure out where. It's probably one of the Saturday money groups with what's her name? I forgot. She's a mini me. What is her name? Bloody hell. Because she would do a Saturday morning live stream. And then I would feel like I can't do a Saturday live stream because I'm on her Saturday live stream. I'm assuming this for Black Women Health has connected with me in a different community group on YouTube somewhere. Because I know some of my followers are following me because we connected in a group. I'm hoping so. Let me know if I'm right. Actually, you know what? Just let me know where you don't know me from online, in person, and then where you're from in the world, because only a handful of us here in the room are in the Canadian location. Stephanie. Now, see that? Now I got to look up. Great. Hold on. That's not going to help me because I know she has a different YouTube channel name. What? See, that's not helping me. I typed that name in YouTube and I don't recognize the channel, which means that is not the person I'm thinking of, which means it's going to take me a while to find out who it is. Oh, that's going to be fun. I mean, I'm not even subscribed to that channel for Stephanie. Let's see if I will subscribe. What is her channel about? Breaks, year round, house sitter, creator, house sitter school. Every time I see house sitter, I think of Mr. Bean. Well, he's not Mr. Bean. He plays a different character in Man versus Bee and Man versus Baby, but he's a professional house sitter in each of these series of the show. So me reading this Stephanie Perry's channel, where creator of House Sitter School, has me thinking of Man versus Bee and Man versus Baby. And yes, I still call him Mr. Bean because I only recognize him as Mr. Bean. Like it's just part of certain actors out there. You only recognize them in certain personality types that they play. Yeah, this one I don't know. Well, yeah, it's American, so I wouldn't really watch this channel. And then there's nothing in the thumbnail or the title that I would follow or watch that I can see right now. So it has to be somewhere else. Well, that was a fun rabbit hole distraction. Okay, we're still on policy directive. And the question, wait, YouTube served me one of your videos, probably because we will talk about money and you're also in Canada. Yes, that's perfect. That's super perfect. Yay for another Canadian in the room, because I have majority Americans that watch my channel. I have to close my channel. My stats say that, where is it? YouTube Studio. Oh, I need to delete that one. Because how I went live and then I ended the live because it clicked on the different link. But that one, what? What did it do? Oh, booger. There's an upcoming. Oh, great. That is annoying. I have to fix that when we're not live. Okay. So there's like 3 of them. How is there 3 of them? It's the restream. Restream gives me extra work to go live. That's just what that is. Okay, audience. 50% are subscribed, 49% are not subscribed. That's almost half and half. Okay, so the half of people watch my videos here, subscribe to the channel. I talk about building wealth on disability benefits in Canada as a Black woman who's determined to become a net worth millionaire. And I'm not worried if $1 million is not enough money. I like to have it and find out. So that is what we're going to do. And speaking of which, I'm going to play a video.
Today, we're diving into a really powerful blueprint for disabled entrepreneurs here in Canada. This isn't just about surviving on social assistance. It's a guide to actually building wealth and finding real financial freedom while on it. So let's get right into it. This quote from entrepreneur Camille Deandra Stewart it really hits home. It perfectly captures the heart of the problem we're talking about today. You know, that painful clash between your own drive to build something and a system that sometimes feels like it's designed to stop you in your tracks. So what exactly is this dilemma? Well, it's a frustrating catch-22, where the very things that make a business successful, ambition, hard work, earning more, are the same things that can get you penalized by the systems meant to be your safety net. To understand this, we're going to follow a journey through programs like the Ontario Disability Support Program, or ODSP. Now, these programs are absolutely essential, but they come with really strict limits on your income and your assets, which, as you can imagine, creates massive roadblocks for any entrepreneur who's trying to grow. Now, to really get a sense of the stakes here, let's look at what it actually feels like to be caught in this trap, because this isn't just theory, this is someone's real life. Okay, so picture this. You've built a profitable business, you've got financial stability, your self-esteem is high. Then November 2008 hits and everything collapses. Suddenly, you have no savings, no sick leave, no safety net at all. That kind of freefall is just devastating, not just for your bank account, but for your sense of self. The only support on the table was a program called Ontario Works, and the maximum monthly payment? $599. I mean, just think about trying to pay rent and buy groceries with that. It was impossible, a recipe for constant stress that led to a terrible spiral of depressive episodes. And this is where the story takes a really shocking turn. After finally getting approved for ODSP, the official advice from a caseworker was to just stop working, to give up the business, abandon all that ambition. And that wasn't just terrible financial advice, it was psychologically crushing. So, when you're faced with a reality like that, how in the world do you break free? Well, it all starts with a huge shift in how you look at the system itself. And this right here is the turning point. It's the moment of realizing that the rules, the fine print that feels like a cage, could actually be learned, mastered, and then used as a powerful tool for your own advocacy and your own strategic growth. The key was hidden deep in the system's own fine print. ODSP Directive 5.4, a specific policy for self-employment income. The thing is, this wasn't common knowledge at all. In fact, it was a rule many caseworkers either claimed didn't exist or actively told people not to use. And the power of that one hidden rule is just immense, because under that directive, an entrepreneur on ODSP can now earn up to $1,000 in net business income every single month without losing any of their support. That's a game changer. And that's the big takeaway, right? Deeply understanding policy isn't just about staying out of trouble. It becomes the literal foundation for your own empowerment, for smart financial planning, and for actually building wealth. Okay, so you've got the knowledge. How do you turn that into a real, actionable plan? Let's break down what's called the Sovereignty Blueprint, a practical system for building that financial freedom. A central piece of this strategy is the 5 bank account method. It's brilliant. All your business income goes into one account for operating expenses. From there, you pay yourself a regular wage into your personal account. Then you split the rest. Money goes into a tax account, another chunk goes into business savings for emergencies, and finally, you move funds into an investment account to grow your long-term wealth. This way, every single dollar has a job. Next up, you start thinking about insurance as a tool for empowerment. Instead of just taking what you're giving, you can strategically layer your coverage. You could pair ODSP with a private plan to cover pre-existing conditions. If you're a student, you can use those great student health plans while your earnings are exempt. Or you can make use of the new Canada Dental Care Plan. Just remember, you can't combine that one with private dental. It's all about knowing your options and mixing and matching. But the wealth building doesn't stop there. The blueprint uses specific financial tools that actually work with the system's rules. The Registered Disability Savings Plan, or RDSP, is huge. It's a powerful savings tool with government matching. You can also use things like TFSAs and RRSPs with specific products called segregated funds to build assets in a way that's actually exempt from ODSP's limits. So what's the end game here? What is the ultimate goal of mastering this entire blueprint? Well, it's about nothing less than completely transforming your financial reality. This whole journey really comes down to a massive mindset shift. It's about consciously moving away from that feeling of not enough that the system can really drill into you, and moving towards a place of control, of autonomy, of financial sovereignty. And that freedom, it has a number. A clear, concrete benchmark, growing the business to a gross income of $5,000 per month. That is the magic number, the point where you can afford your own top-tier private insurance and have enough in savings to become fully independent. And that, right there, is the ultimate goal. This isn't about learning to just survive inside the system forever. It's about building a business and a financial foundation so strong that you can successfully graduate from it, leaving the system behind for good, and living life on your own terms. Ultimately, this entire story proves one thing. Knowledge is power. Mastering the rules of whatever system you're in is always the first step toward rewriting your own future. So the question I want to leave you with is this: what fine print in your own life might just hold the blueprint to your freedom?
Okay, let me stop sharing. Because apparently I didn't stop sharing when I played the video. See, that, I made that video with all my notes and then multiple attempts to get it to say correct information and information that I would say if I could say those words in that order type of thing. Yeah, so like how I was talking about the $5,000 a month, that is my business revenue goal for being a webcam model. Like my business, majority of it is American money, and then I have to convert it to Canadian, then report it to the government, which is the income deduction calculator spreadsheet that I created because the government website doesn't have it. There's one in Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia tells you if you make a certain amount of income, how much of their disability program you would get, but Ontario doesn't. For something that's supposed to be more digital, more online, more not yet AI, but I do use AI to talk to my caseworker, so because I just can't deal with them. So the $5,000 a month is revenue, because with businesses, revenue is on the left. Was it left? Revenue minus expenses equals net income. So they determine my eligibility based on net income, and spreadsheet visual, because the numbers make sense when you see them. This is 2025. I'll update it for 2026 because it indexes to inflation, the $1,697.85 a month that I get. The video talking about $5,000 a month as gross income, business income, revenue income. That is the money I would make. And with following the Donna Miller 5 bank account system, 10% of that I'm going to invest in my taxable broker account, regardless of anything happening. Then I take a salary out of that. And then my expenses come out of that. And let's say my expenses are $3,750. I still get net income $1,250. And then ODSP would be like, oh yeah, you're $250 over our threshold of $1,000. So they'll take away from my check $187.50. And then my direct deposit would be $1,610.35. I could live on that kinda by itself. But remember, the business made, where was it? Lost it. 1,250 to make the total income of disability payment plus my business income $2,860.35. If I do that for a whole year, it's $34,324.20. What? Why? Wait, are they all like that? Ew. It's the pennies. It's 85. I'm born in 85. 35. That was 5 years ago. And then everything here ends in 20 cents. Oh, I never saw that before. That's funny and annoying. Oh, that's really annoying. So basically, if people are like, oh, how about you make more money as come off disability? I could, but you're forgetting the fact. Like when people say that, they're forgetting my disability. And like 100%. You're forgetting the disability. You're forgetting the expenses that come with a disability. You're forgetting what the government is paying for because I have a disability. And then they added in employment supports to filter out the system. So either people with disabilities that want to go back to work and they need support of getting back to work that reduce the barriers of a person with a disability to be in the workplace, or the government added employment supports as a way to filter out who is on disability benefits and who can work. Because of the way that Alberta made another program called ADAP, where it forces people on disability benefits to go through their program, then reapply again to prove that they're disabled and unable to work. This is why there's a medical review in the policy directive, which let's go find that one, because why not? Just make it all fun and games with this one. Medical reviews. To be eligible, income support person must meet all eligibility criteria under ODSP Act. When a determination of disability is made under Section 4(1) of the ODSP Act. I read these links here. They're the legal language of the government. I'm not a lawyer. I don't work for them. I don't want to read them. It's just I could read it, but it'll give me a migraine. So this is where you hire a lawyer to read this part. Regular people, we read this Ontario government website, updated September 2023. They're making the lawyer language more English. So how applying for a disability support program, you fill out a disability determination package. It's like 6 pages. You fill out some, you write a personal essay. You write an essay to apply for disability the same way you write an essay for applying for college. One is easier than the other. Like I can get into college, no problem. With the same essay I can write to the disability office, I can write to my college essay. Yeah, I could. And get scholarships. Wow. Every time. I remember when I first thought of it, of like it's easier to apply for college than it is to apply for disability benefits. And then the thing about college, some colleges, yes, they legally say they'll provide disability supports, but they don't. Or they deny you from having your education because of your disability. So then people end up on government assistance because the rest of the world is rejecting them. hello, me right here, this face right here. Yeah, like we're like, I'm only lucky the type of disability I have, and I still have my brain intact, even though I partied like it's 1999. Like I'm like every time I review what did I do with my life, yeah, I'm pretty lucky, and there was definitely somebody watching over me to protect me from all the stuff I was going through. Um, Medical reviews in unique circumstances, type of medical reviews, decision impact on eligibility for income support, internal review, the appeal process. So with my application, it got denied first. Then we were getting ready to make an appeal, but because I was already on Ontario Works, which is welfare, and I already met the income test for Ontario Works, and I guess they didn't want to go through my medical review in court with the tribunal again. They approved it. And then when they approved it, I was court ordered to be out of my apartment. I didn't leave yet. Then I sent my landlord to court to stay in my apartment because the back pay of being approved for Ontario Disability Program kept me in my apartment. That was 2011, April. Now, after recovery, rehab, falling off the wagon, more rehab, more remission, more recovery, more trauma. Yeah, I've been through. That's too much to go through. Yeah, there has to be a higher power watching over me. Like, for me to go through all the things I've been through to get here and still be able to, like, want to get up tomorrow morning. I've been through a lot. And now I have the sense and wisdom and knowledge and education, especially financial literacy education. If, let's say, I didn't have any financial education of understanding the policy directive around income and assets. Where's that one? Here's assets, treatment of assets. Let's say I didn't have any education of principal residence, second property, motor vehicle, trust funds, life insurance, gifts, compensation awards for injury or death, prepaid funeral, student loan grants, awards, bursaries, registered education savings plan, Ontario Autism Program, mortgages, special government. I don't need all of them. But for the people in personal finance that know which ones I'm talking about as they pop up, art grants, business assets, tools of the trade, farm assets, RSPs, locked in pension funds, financial hardship. Like, this is one of the long, there's only two long parts of the policy, I think, but I believe so. Assets and income. Sale of assets, registered disability savings plan. Oh, that part's short. Really? That's funny. Ontario Athlete Assistant Program. What? Quest for Gold. All direct financial assistance provided to athletes under the Ministry of Tourism, Culture, Sports. Quest for Gold. Ontario Athlete Assistant Program is exempt from income and asset charges. Okay, so if I want to do the Olympics, okay, that's nice. I'm not. That's my job of my sister, not mine. But that's good to know. Sale of assets. There's no income charge to recipient for the portion of a payment received from the sale or other disposition of any assets not exempt or exempt that is applied to or with approval will be used to purchase a principal residence, any and other approved assets that is necessary for the health and welfare, or an exempt asset that would be no income. See, I hate this thing. Why? I totally hate it. Retroactive entitlement. Yeah, this is what I got. This is what kept me in my apartment, I think. Income support arrears received due to retroactive entitlement are exempt as income and are not considered an asset for 6 months. Wow. Well, okay, if I was in a better financial position and I got approved for Ontario Disability Support Program, because here's what happens. You or your friend are applying for Ontario Disability Support Program. You're typically on Ontario Works waiting to be approved for Ontario Disability Support Program. Then, once you find out there is a retroactive payment that's coming to you that covers the difference of being on Ontario Works to what you would get on Ontario Disability Support Program, which is usually at times double. So, like, people are like, when I got on ODSP, it was $1,069 and welfare was like 500 and something dollars. So everyone was like, oh, it's double. You get more money. Yes, but all of that money, retroactive payment, went to pay my rent to be not evicted from my apartment. Other people, they are pre planning how to spend that retroactive payment when it comes in, when they're waiting for their ODSP check to come in. You'll see that on Reddit a lot. It's a thing I notice. The way like, oh, when's my retroactive payment come in? I want to pay this. I want to do this. I want to do that. They literally have the shopping list ready to go of the retroactive payment. Me, it was like, okay, I need my retroactive payment and hopefully I can keep my apartment. That was my worry. Transplant? What? No. No. I hate this thing. Okay, I wonder how many times I'm gonna say I hate this thing. That's all. That's why the laughing was coming from. Treatment of payment under the transplant patient expense reimbursement, Ministry of Health, upfront payments reimbursement, temporary accommodations, by eligible payment while waiting a heart lung transplant up to a maximum of $650 per month. That what? How is that? We're in 2025. This is from 2023, right? Hold on, what date is it? 2024. Published 2022. We're in 2025. If you're on Ontario Muffin, I need English for muffin. I need English for muffin. Payments are exempt as assets for the purpose of social assistance are used for the intended purposes within a reasonable period of time as determined by the director. The director is the caseworker. Learning, earning, and parenting program. I've seen this in school stuff. I don't know what it is, but it says Ministry of Community Services Act. A lot of RSPs are mentioned in here. That goes with education. Exempt loans. Loans for acceptable purposes such as purchase of assets that are exempt, motor vehicle, principal residence, are exempt as income and assets. Loans for the payment of first and last month's rent are also exempt as income and assets. The portion of the approved loan used for training or education costs is exempt as an asset so long as the person is attending the program or training for which the loan was taken or the payment was intended. In addition, a recipient is required to apply for funds to education costs or training within a reasonable period of time. We're going to hear a reasonable period of time a lot. Most of everything on ODSP gives you 6 to 12 months to do something or report back on why you can't do it. Section 5.10 loans. This is why I have 4 credit cards, because ODSP said I could, if you're wondering. And then what I did with my credit cards, like cash advances into my registered disability savings plan, is because loans said so. I'll read that next because we're already here. Explanation, income exemption, a loan, including a forgiving loan, contributions for residential rehabilitation program, reserve low income homeowners to bring their home up to safety and health standards, or improve energy efficient, the loan or contribute. They literally, like, I don't know how many times I have to tell people, they cover everything. Like, everything. The loan or contributions exempt as asset in opinion of the director. It would be used for a reasonable time for the purposes for which was given a figurable loan. I like locked in retirement accounts, individuals age 55 and over, shortening life expectancy. Like, I don't, you know what? Next time someone thinks ODSP doesn't do that, I'm just going to ask you to pull up the policy directive on your phone. Since most everybody has a smartphone these days. Hopefully you have Wi-Fi connected and y'all can go to this website and read through everything here, and hopefully you're not going to give me the response of ODSP can't do it. Yes, they can. They're the government. And look, this is just assets. This page is only assets. You haven't got to income. So like assets do not count towards the asset limit of $40,000 for a single person, not married, no children. $50,000 per couple. So remember when I read spouses and then it's fully said that the spouse is fully responsible for the applicant recipient, which is me. So like I'm a $40,000 single person asset limit. Then we become a couple for a $50,000 asset limit. But then your financial records have to be reviewed in the questionnaire. And then you have to declare me as your spouse so we can fill out part 3 of the questionnaire application. Yeah. I already know what this is. I'm just trying to get people to be enlightened about what this is and know what this is so you can do everything you can in your financial future to. So like if you have enough assets in investments in the stock market, mutual funds, RSPs in your accounts, maximum, like especially people that don't have savings in retirement and they're living paycheck to paycheck. If you're living paycheck to paycheck and don't have insurance from your employer, after you max out EI, you apply for Ontario Works, then you apply for Ontario Disability Support Program. That is the chain of events. I'm not even, it's right here. I don't know how many times I gotta say it for people to get it. And then, okay, you work a job, you don't buy your own insurance, which means you don't buy critical illness, guaranteed life, disability, all the insurance packages that you say, oh, it's too expensive. Oh, I'll wait till later. If you don't get them and you need them, you end up here in this wonderful maze of the government that controls every aspect of your life. Because you meet the criteria for a person with a disability based on, where is it? Determination package, applicants, where is it? It's probably in the how to apply for ODSP. That's probably where it is. Social assistance, Ontario Disability Support Program, start a new application, employment supports, temporary assistance, check your status, the Ontario Disability Support Act. Does it say in here? Well, it would, but it's going to be in legal language. I don't want to read it in legal language. All right. Well, assistance with your application. Well, this is annoying. So I have to go read the legal one? I don't want to read it. All right, fine. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, so purpose of ODSP provides income and employment supports to eligible persons with disability. Recognizes that government, communities, families, and individuals share responsibility for providing such supports. Effectively serves persons with disabilities who need assistance and is accountable to the taxpayer of Ontario. Great. That's everybody. That is everybody. Person with disability. The person has a substantial or mental impairment that is continuous or recurrent and expected to last 1 year or more. The direct and cumulative effect of the impairment on the person's ability to attend his or her personal care function in the community, function in a workplace, results in a substantial restriction in one or more of these activities of daily living, and the impairment is likely duration and restriction in the person's activities of daily living have been verified by a person with a prescribed qualification. That is your medical professional. I think nurse practitioners are also on that list. Let me go through eligibility of income support. Now, income support, agreed reimbursement and assignment. What's that one? Income and assets, reimbursement, prescribed as condition of eligibility, income support required applicant, recipient, or dependent to agree and reimburse the director for income support provided or to be provided. Yeah, this part where I get lost. Once we go into this part of the policy directive, the actual legal language of it, this is where I was like, I don't want to. And I'm hoping y'all are motivated to work really hard so you don't have to. Like, I'm already here. I'm already in the maze. I'm in the Thunderdome. We're playing Mortal Kombat. And I have to win. that is what we have to do. I have to win this poverty game, and here are all the rules. Like, how do you know when I win? When I reach my assets are too big or my income is too large, and then I apply for other benefits, which is transitional health benefits or extended health benefits or Ontario Drug Trillium. This is how I know I win. When? Ideally, because 2025 was supposed to be my 5-year plan. So 2030, I have to be off of it. I'll be 45. And it's putting a lot of pressure on the fact that I have multiple sclerosis. I currently cannot use full functioning of my hands right now, but I'm at the point where I feel like I have no other option but to do it in any capacity I can, no matter what. Because I don't want to remember another thing. Like, I want to leave Ontario Disability Support Program and never have to remember anything of this unless somebody is paying me to teach it. That is it. And charities think I'm too expensive right now. So, which means the only way people will get the information they need about Ontario Disability Support Program is when I make content like this on the channel. And 2026, I have to figure out how to break down the policy directives that make sense to the financial independence journey of the 7 baby steps of Dave Ramsey that I follow to infinity and beyond to lift myself out of poverty so I'm not below the poverty line. Wait, what do I have open? Okay. I'm like, what is sharing? I thought the spreadsheet thing was sharing, where I calculate my $5,000 a month income and assets and benefits and things like that. Yeah, it's no matter how, like, I mean, it's quiet, it's great. People showed up in chat and said hi, which is fantastic. But I keep wondering if there's something in here that I need to know that I don't know, that I should know, but not really. Like here, recovery of funds. See how it says spouse's overpayment? The spouse's income could trigger me having overpayment at the Payback Ontario Disability Support Program. An overpayment made to a recipient dependent spouse under the social assistance program is recoverable under Ontario Disability Support Program. An overpayment is made to a recipient dependent spouse may be recovered by various means, including deductions to the ODSP income support. Director must give notice in writing of a decision to determine an overpayment, the amount of the overpayment, and the reasons for the decision to the recipient and dependent spouse. Director provides an overview of the policy related to the sharing of overpayments between recipient and dependent spouse. Okay, I'm the recipient, dependent spouse. Oh, it's every combination. I was like, what? Yeah. So it's they cover everything. It's just annoying. To ensure that an overpayment made to a benefit unit that included a dependent spouse may be recovered equally from the recipient and dependent spouse. Standards. If a recipient had a dependent spouse when an overpayment was incurred, the director must give written notice to the spouse of the amount of the overpayment, the reason, the period of which it was incurred, and the right to appeal. Yeah, ODSP does make mistakes, but they also like to act like they do not make mistakes. So you basically repay the overpayment because it'll come out of your check, your next monthly check automatically. Then you send in appeal letters, like their official form, where you go to a lawyer, they'll fill out the form, they'll ask for an appeal, you'll ask for ODSP to do their investigation of the mistake. Then if you still feel like they made the mistake, you have to take it up to the Ombudsman of Ontario, or you send them to court. We're really hoping I never have to experience that, but that's pretty much how this works. You're on government assistance, you're working your way off of it, you trigger an overpayment, they prove to you that the overpayment is legitimate, then you either work out a payment plan. Here it says rate of recovery will generally be 5% of the budgetary requirement, may be reduced if it will cause hardship. The rate of the recovery may be increased up to 10% only when there is evidence of a capacity to pay the higher amount. Oh crap. There's a reason here why I said that. So my overpayment, oh, that one didn't change. That's an older one. Where's the new one? No, new one. This one. Yes, this one. Okay, so where's my current overpayment? Here, $1,547.81. I have to prove to them I have the capacity to pay them more, but I also don't want them to. They already take $81.15 a month out of my payment. Like, that's roughly $1,000 a year. It'll be gone by July 2027 at this rate, because it increases with inflation July 2026 and then again July 2027. So between like the year coming in an hour and then another year after, it'll be gone. So 2028, this should be zero. And hopefully I don't owe another overpayment in the future, but future me is going to have to figure out how to communicate to them about repaying the overpayment faster. We're still in the section of spouses for the overpayment stuff. It's like regular recovery overpayment for like, that's not it. Why would they do that? Don't do that. Regular recovery of overpayment. Where are you? Wait, is that it? No. Interim appeals. Overpayment due to excess assets. Recovery overpayment. If a recipient had a dependent spouse and the overpayment, no. Director must give written notice. 100% of any arrears payable to the recipient under less than agrees upon greater amount. That's a 10% recovery. Recovery deduction must not exceed 10% monthly budgetary requirements. And I remember the caseworker, because I asked about it, my overpayment. They put some of the money on hold when we were doing my budget to figure out if I had fallen into financial hardship, according to their definition of financial hardship. They put on hold $1.14. I've seen the hold be lifted. Then they're taking $81.15 because it now indexes to inflation. They just automatically increase the payments of the overpayment when it indexes the whole payment with inflation. Establishing, I don't want to do this. I don't want to play this game anymore. I don't want to play this game anymore. Oh my God. We went through a lot in the policy. We went through, what did we go through? Because I'm ready to call it quits because I can't talk about this no more. Okay, we talk about the definition of how to get on Ontario Disability Program, like the legal stuff. Then we talked about spouses. Then we talked about absent from Ontario, medical reviews, definition of assets, funds held in a trust. I mentioned life insurance policies a lot. I mentioned the big part of the policies are definition of treatment of income, definition treatment of assets, 5.4 self-employment. That was the whole spreadsheet calculator, my goal of making $5,000 income. Then we talked about loans, and we talked about loans and why loans was the best way of dealing with Ontario Disability Program because of the loan part of the policy. Yeah. Then we were talking about recovery of overpayments. Then spouses could trigger an overpayment. And I don't want to be on the government. Like, legally, medically, I still fit the definition of being approved for Ontario Disability Program. Because that's not going to change. And me talking may or may not be my disability right now because of bipolar disorder and delusions and grandiose ideas and all that stuff. Go look up the symptoms of bipolar disorder. I still fit that criteria according to my doctor. And then multiple sclerosis, go look up the symptoms of multiple sclerosis. I have some of them, and they were annoying and painful and debilitating. But no matter which part of my episodic disabilities I have, bills have to be paid. Food has to be in my fridge. I have to pay for prescriptions not covered by Ontario Disability Support Program. Oh yeah, I have to look presentable when I'm out on the road because people don't think I have a disability. And then that causes a whole chain of events of people looking at me like, what do you mean you're on ODSP? You look fine. Where were you there in 2011 when I was psychotic and being evicted from my apartment and crying in the hallway in the courtroom when they said I'm being evicted from my apartment? Like, I still remember that day. I went into court. They called my name. They asked me how come I couldn't pay the rent. I didn't have an answer. I think I said, I don't know. I literally, in the moment, you're supposed to like fight for your life. When you're talking to a judge who says they have the power to evict you from your home, and you answer with, I don't know. This is how I know I'm protected by the Holy Spirit. Because I didn't have an answer why I wasn't paying the rent. I didn't have an answer why the payment arrangement I had in place in the court that I negotiated with the mediator, I couldn't stick with it. Everything that indicated I have a mental illness was in full effect, but it wasn't. If my psychosis, bipolar diagnosis was confirmed when I was being evicted from my apartment, I could have had a lawyer come in and represent me. I represent myself. I didn't know I'm supposed to ask for help and get representation around disability accommodations in the landlord and tribunal court to extend the payment arrangements because I'm doing payment arrangements like a regular person. I shouldn't. I should have been doing payment arrangements as a person with a disability, negotiating with my landlord to make out a payment plan that made sense to keep myself from the apartment. This is why when in my presentations, depending which one you're watching, and it says when I was being evicted from my apartment and ODSP payment came in to save me, and my mom says it was God. Yeah, it was. When it happened, I didn't believe that. Now I do. Like 100% I do. Because I'm remembering all the stuff that happened that day. And I had no I had no sense to negotiate with a lawyer and a judge about keeping my apartment with a reasonable reason, explanation that made sense because I was psychotic. I was unwell. I was mentally unwell and mentally unstable trying to hold on to my apartment. So yeah, God had to come in and save me. Great, here we are. Now I've reached the maximum capacity of being on government assistance, where now all the power and knowledge and skills that I have has to be activated so I can come off of it. And then put everything in place in the future so that I don't lose housing in the future. Like, this is also why, if you're wondering why I'm still on an ODSP, I was at the verge of losing housing when I got on ODSP. So I'm always reminded every time my rent is paid that ODSP is saving me from being homeless. Which means if I'm going to come off of it, I have to make sure I have a solid, good freaking plan to not lose my housing. I know this. I obsess over it all the time in various different combinations of the content. But that's the root cause of why I want to be on off. I hate the fact that ODSP literally is coming in like a babysitter, guardian, paying my rent and prescriptions and bills and stuff for $1,600 a month. When the should be a woman in my 40s should be capable of doing this, but I'm not. So we're on assistance. And then the parts I can do for myself, by myself, really, really well, I'm trying to focus on. But it's hard because guess what? My body will fall apart between bipolar and multiple sclerosis. Like, we don't want it to. This is why we're taking all these medications that we're given. But I am always on this teeter-totter, seesaw, same thing. I know, I said two words for the same thing. This happening. I'd never balance. There's never a balance in what's happening for me. Either I'm up on one area of my life or I'm down on the other end of my life. There's never this harmonious thing going on. There's always something in the back of my head that has me worried all the time. And you saw it. Every aspect of ODSP is covered that triggers one worry. Then the fact that ODSP literally came in to save me from being unhoused in 2011. If ODSP did not step in, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. Like, yes. And God came in and I didn't go to court. I didn't go to tribunal. Everything got approved. I ran around like a mad woman trying to get a caseworker to issue out my check early so I can use the check that was issued out early to pay my rent. But I had to send my landlord to court to order a stay in my apartment and then give my landlord the rent check of all the back pay plus the current month to stay in my apartment. Then we had ODSP automatically pay my landlord the rent from 2011 to 2024. That's 12, 13 years of them paying my rent. Now I'm paying it on my own. But every time that deposit comes in my bank account, I freak out. I could say it. I freak out. Every month my ODSP check comes in. I pay rent. I pay insurance. I pay hydro. I breathe. I pay internet. I pay cell phone. I get groceries. And to keep me accountable and keep me on top of what I need to do, I record it. Because I'm scared. And oh yeah, somehow I want to buy a house. I would like to buy my principal residence. Because I don't like, it's a weird thing where I hope people have more compassion for people on government assistance, because you have no idea what we've gone through to get to where we are on government assistance. Because the Policy Act says community and government purpose of the act, purpose of Ontario Disability Program, where recognize that government, communities, families, and individuals share responsibility for providing such supports. The Ontario Disability Support Program, the support part is everybody. Government, community, family, individuals share responsibility for providing such supports. Provide income and employment supports to eligible persons with disabilities. Effectively serve persons with disabilities who need assistance and is accountable to the taxpayer of Ontario. So great. I have to be accountable to how I spend the money I get from Ontario Disability Program. Then when I need services and supports from income and employment supports, the government, community, families, individuals share the responsibility in providing it for me to live as a person with a disability in Ontario. It's right there. It's the very first thing it says. The very first thing it says. Is that happening? Not 100% as nicely as it's written. Should it be happening? Yes. Yeah. So I've been going on for what, 2 hours? Almost. I'm tired. Little freaked out and anxious, because the more I read the policy, the more I know exactly what my fate is written. Then, if I don't want to live the fate that I have that is written right in front of me, I have to work towards changing it. And then finding the right people who can support me to stay accountable so I can change it. And support me that I don't go backwards. Because they have a whole thing in the policy directive called rapid reinstatement. Which, where is that? Is it here? I know it's here. Is there a policy directive for it? Hold on. Oh, there it is. Oh, that I never read before. Maybe I'll read it in the new year. But not New Year in 40 minutes. Yeah. Okay. It's been fun. It's been great. I learned more about me. I learned how scared I am. And I will do all the self-care I need. I'll read my Bible. I'll listen to Joyce Myers. And I'll see you in the new year.